Hey, it's Jesus Castillo from Ruby Guides, and in this video, I want to share with you basic terms and vocabulary for Ruby programming. Learning more terms and vocabulary is very important because it allows you to communicate with other developers. It allows you to understand more things as you read books and courses and articles. It also helps you search in Google the right terms, right? Because if you're searching the wrong terms and you're using the wrong vocabulary to communicate, then nothing is going to make sense, right? So it's very, very, very important that you build your programming vocabulary and terms. Let's get into the actual vocabulary terms that we're going to cover today. Okay, so I have the first 4 definitions right here, and these are very simple. We're just getting started with these basic terms. So I want to cover the basics, the fundamentals. So the first term is a string. So a string, you probably heard this term. It means a set of characters that represent text. Okay? One example I have here is cat, right? Cat is text, but text also includes numbers. So it could be cat 1, then with the number 1 after it, right? So text doesn't only mean actual letters, it also means symbols like a question mark or exclamation mark or the hash mark. All of this is considered text. Space, everything that's data, we consider text, and therefore we save this inside strings. You know that you're working with a string because strings start with the either double quotes like this one or single quotes, right? And end with the same. And that's how you and Ruby know that you're working with a string. So a string, set of characters. Then we have integers. So if string represent text, integer represent numbers, but numbers in the mathematical sense. That's the difference between having a number inside a string and having an integer. An integer means that you can actually do math. You can make calculations. That's why we have this separation between numbers inside a string and integers. Because integers like 1, 10, 200, also negative numbers like minus 1, minus 10, minus 200, 0. All of these are integers, so whole numbers. Notice that they don't have the quotation marks around them like strings. So that's what makes them different. Integers allow you to do calculation, math, and they don't have the quotation marks, but you can also find numbers inside a string. In that case, it's just data. It's not something that you can use to do math, right? So that's strings and integers. Then we have arrays. And arrays are lists of objects. And it can be a mixed list. So we can have integers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 million, 10 million, 0, all of the numbers. But you can also have strings and other things. So an array is a list of objects. You and Ruby know that this is an array, a list, because we use square brackets. So this symbol right here and this symbol, right? The square brackets means beginning and ending of a list of an array. So that's an array. It's how we get list of things together, right? So these basic three types, string, integer, array, string, integer, array, you're going to be using a lot for any kind of Ruby programs, right? Then we have another term that you might be familiar with. It's gem. And when we're talking about gems, I mean Ruby gems. What's a Ruby gem? Well, a Ruby gem is code that you can install and use in your Ruby programs. Okay, so that's code that you can write yourself and share with others, or it's code that other people write that they decide to share with the rest of the Ruby community, right? And they make it freely available for everyone to use. This also now, if you're going from another language, another programming language, this is what we know as libraries, shared code that you can use. And one example is Rails. Rails is a set of Ruby gems that you can use to build web applications. Okay, so that's our first set of vocabulary words for programming. So the next set is here. So now we have class, object, instance, and method. Let's go over what these mean. And remember to click the like button if you like this video and want to see more videos like this. And visit my website, rubyguides.com. rubyguides.com. Okay, so class. What is a class? Well, a class in Ruby, so always explaining these concepts in the context of the Ruby programming language, okay? So a class in Ruby is a blueprint. And a blueprint that is made of actions and data. Okay? Actions and data. So for example, if you have a coffee machine, like you might have at home to make coffee every day, right? What does a coffee machine have? Well, coffee machine has water, right? Needs water. So that's data. Things a class has, that's data. Coffee machine also has coffee, and depending on the machine that you have, you might also have coffee beans in the machine. Like you might have compartment where you put the beans and the machine rinse them to make coffee, right? And the action, so remember action and data, the actions is what the class does. So the coffee machine makes coffee. So the process of making coffee, that's the action. So another example of this could be a person, right? Person has a name, that's data. Person has an age, a gender, country. All of that is data about the person. But the person can also do things. That's the actions, right? The person can speak, person can think, person can write, can watch this video, right? So that's actions and data, and that's a class, right? Notice that in Ruby, classes always start with a capital letter. That's one thing to know and remember. So next term is object, and all of these four terms on this slide, they're closely related together, okay? So an object is the product of a class. What does that mean? Well, just like you can have different coffee machines, you can with different models, different kinds of machines, right? That will be a specific machine that you have home. That will be an object. And your neighbor has a different machine. Even if it's the same brand and the same model, it's different machine than yours, right? So that's why I say unique product. They still have the same kind of data, the same actions, but they are different. Same for person, for computer, right? So that's an object. The objects are the products of the class. And the class is a blueprint that defines, okay, so this is what it means to be a person. This is what it means to be a coffee machine. And the object is the actual thing, right? It's the actual persons, the actual computers that are defined by the class. So that's class and object. Very important concepts in Ruby. Okay? Then we have instance. And this one is easy because instance is just another name for object, right? This is more of a technical word that you might read in books, and you may read in some technical articles. You may read, oh, no, you have an instance, or no, this is also a verb that's called instantiate, which means to create an object. So instance means an object. Okay? You might also hear the term instance method. So now we're going to cover what's a method. Well, a method is actions, behavior, and commands, right? So it's things like reading, write, size, right? Size is not an action, but you are asking for something. You're asking for the size of something, like the size of a string or the size of an array, right? The size of an array is how many objects, how many elements are inside the array, inside the list, right? So that's a method, and the methods are the actions of objects, right? So I like to say that objects are made from classes, and classes have methods which do things, right? That's how you can remember this, and that's how all of these terms are related together, right? Methods define the individual actions that some object can do. So that's it. That's the 8 vocabulary terms that I have for you in this video. Study them, learn them, and they will be very helpful for you. So let me quickly review them for you. So we have string, integer, array, gem, class, object, instance, and method. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to click the like button on this video so I know that you like this video, okay? Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and click the bell notification button so you get notified when I publish new videos. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video, or any suggestions, feedback. I welcome that. And visit my website, rubyguides.com. Subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't yet, and buy a copy of my Ruby book if you want to support my work. Okay? Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you in the next video.